Time's up. Have your own.
Here it comes.
Fade in.
When it comes to fans, it is a fan's right to have whatever opinion they want to have.
This girl looks like Jed. Let's cut the end of the movie. This girl looks like Jed. Period. Except she got the long hair. Only thing that's missing is the beard. She looks like Jed. I'm not into Jed. Jed's my homie, but I would never want to do things to his face, neck, or chest.
But I'm so apathetic to Star Wars that this episode could have featured Yoda riding on a dildo being wielded by R2-D2, and I would have the same reaction.
Well, we're talking about people who have serious sexual orientation and gender identity problems. And I'm not talking, and when I say sexual orientation, I don't mean, a dude who likes a dude and a chick who likes a chick. We're talking about people who think that they're non-binary and they don't know how to play with their holes and shit like that.
Oh,
so, Jesus Christ.
Every video from now to the end of time would be some dude wearing a dildo strapped onto his forehead, getting beat to death with a machete.
Let that define it, because there was other stuff that defined all these franchises we love before the likes of Disney or Kurtzman or any other one took them over and, fucked them in the ear. So, in the ear, that it hurts. It would hurt.
It doesn't just hurt.
Oh my God.
It would kill you.
God, heaven. Not the ear.
I thought you said Star Wars isn't dead.
Well,
and you don't like that.
No,
that metaphor makes it true.
No, Disney Star Wars. Don't let them. And that's what you do to Disney Star Wars.
That's what we're doing to Disney Star Wars now. When did this be about us?
I meant the metaphorical we, the royal we, the world.
The wee.
The wee in somebody's ear. Like, what are we doing?
Oh boy.
Yeah.
And Dre, what's the most successful business in the world? Essentially,
prostitution.
I'm still jerking off in front of my console.
Yeah,
Adam, your hair's already short. I like it shorter. Okay.
Should I cut my hair?
You're gonna have to eventually.
Someday.
Once
it gets my ass.
This week I binged Creature Commandos. Creature Commandos.
And you binged it
right
out
of week and you forgot it?
You consumed it and you binged it right out, huh?
Yep, and I definitely took a nice good country dump and it came right out along with it.
Bella Ramsey's non-binary though, so the Hollywood
Shut up! That is an ugly little woman with the face of a mongoloid. Okay? That's what she is.
She does look like a changeling.
Game over, man. It's game over.
Yeah, that stuff is already in the discount bin.
He's a $1 billion property. Don't you understand? He's $1 billion. No, Warner Brothers is doomed. They can't take care of themselves. They're a limbless infant on the street begging, help me, please. But no one's going to do it because it's Goblin Baby. So no one wants it. Point is, anybody that picks up that Goblin Baby, it's a diseased baby, and it's going to poison your entire company too because you're also dumb and stupid and you don't know what you're doing. Now, if you were smart, you could put cybernetics on it, create a little monster, run around here, then we have a lot of fun. But they're not that smart to make it even a cybernetic Goblin Baby that could cause destruction. That'd be fun. But here we are.
I love this metaphor.
Here we are.
Cybernetic.
We have nothing
that's
but
what Apple was describing. Drew was describing with Apple. That's cybernetic, baby.
Cybernetic Goblin Baby.
You get nothing. You lose.
I want some real Greeks.
They're not making another Quiet Place, are they?
Apparently
it's the fourth one because there was a prequel too.
Oh, well,
I saw all those movies and I hate them all.
Really? Even
Yes.
the first one?
Yes, especially the first one. First one makes me sick to my penis. I hate that freaking movie. I think Odyssey will make money. Let me say that. I think Odyssey will make money.
It'll squeak out a profit,
Yeah,
but it's
Odyssey
going to
will make
be it's going to be a hard, rough, break your anus profit.
Ooh,
That's what's going to be. You haven't had enough water. You haven't been drinking. You're not moisturizing. That's just going to tear you apart when it comes out.
hey yo.
You know what I'm talking about.
Look, I got IBS. You ain't got to tell me.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh,
It's not gonna be pretty.
Break
So-
your anus. Golly.
In those
I'd work
special
with
shows.
Haley Atwell every day.
But
with two hands. With two hands, even.
Before you go, one question.
Yes?
Where in the galaxy is Sanusi?
Show us your tits and I'll tell you.
And these tool bags wouldn't know quality if it walked up and motorboated them. Because, you're going to motorboat quality.
Wait, what?
Quality boobs. You want to motorboat quality boobs.
There we go. All better now. Man, titties are the greatest things on earth.
Have we all moisturized? Have we all moisturized? Because it's here. It has arrived. Oh, welcome everybody to the round table. We got essentially one topic for today because it will eat up all our time just about. A lot of other little things happen this week, but they are somewhat insignificant. If we really need to, we will touch on them later, but we are here to talk the Odyssey today. And I'm sure we're going to have a lot to say. I have promised the full review discussion because my original review was just short, sweet, to the point, bare bones. Here we're going to talk about it. But first, let's say hi to everybody. Hello, Jed.
hello. No, I am glad to be here just to finally put the Odyssey discussion behind us. I know we're going to talk about box office over the next few weeks, but I think we'll all have said our piece. I've said my piece with my hour-long review, unlike your 10-minute one. But yeah, it'll be nice to get the last of it out of our system and just try to ignore the stands for a little while because they're more cringy than Disney Star Wars stands, guntards right now. Like they are cream of the crop cringe right now.
I call them the Nolanites. That's what I'm calling
Nolanites is a good term.
That's a good one.
Dre, I don't think you're a Nolanite, are you?
No. I grant I like when he does good work. I'm doing okay. I got sick last night, so that kind of sucked. I had some bad Mexican, and it cost me.
Oh, it's not because you watched the movie? I thought
no, don't trust me. The thing is that did to my hole was not Christian. But I went to your side of the bridge, Adam, and got some Mexican food, and I paid the price. I paid the price.
Yeah.
Sick as a dog this morning, but I'm feeling a lot better now.
All right.
But I know I'm gonna hold all my comments until we start to get to the discussion. But I have a question for both y'all and the good people of the chat.
Okay.
What does the word organic mean to you? This is not a trick question. This is not a gotcha. What does the word organic mean?
My first response is a scam.
Okay. No. Okay. Wait. Hold on. No. I mean the actual word. I know. Okay. We'll get to that.
Okay. Modern context does confuse things.
Grown without, produced without any artificial means.
Very good, Jed. What else do you have?
I'd agree with that. No unnatural preservatives, fresh stuff like that.
Very good.
You know, the more natural the process, the more organic.
Sure. The traditional word for organic means of earth. That is the original definition of earth. These niggas that's doing these packaging need to be fired. All of them. They all need to go.
It's a scam.
Every single one of them.
Scam for 20 years.
And let me just tell you real quick. So my wife and I just had this conversation about 8 minutes ago. Okay. Because I went and got some brown eggs and everything from Wise and all that stuff. And she asked me, hey, next time you go, can you get some organic eggs? I looked at her and I said, what did you just say to me? I was like, organic eggs.
I know where this is going.
Let me be as clear as I possibly can. Anything that comes out of an animal is organic.
You know, it's because they changed. It's what they feed the chicken. That's how they classify the
I
organic.
don't care if they were feeding the chicken artificial semen. Whatever comes out of the chicken is organic. The equivalent would be if I go up to a lady and say, "Hey, I'm gonna give you an organic baby." There is no other kind. Once I put my seed in your belly, what comes out is organic. Ain't no ifs, ands, or butt cheeks about it.
Butt cheeks are definitely not involved.
It is a little bit more complicated than that. There is bioengineering certain chickens these days, and sometimes their offspring is so drastically changed that it can't be called organic.
But Jed, but this is my thing. Use a different word. That's my problem. Use a different word. Using the word organic, not only is it redundant, it's ridiculous when you're talking about things that come out of the earth. I have a serious problem with that word. We as a society have to rise up and get rid of whoever
Used now. Slap organic on it. Oh, it's better for you.
Yeah, and then raise the price $3.
Yeah.
What kind of games are you playing?
Hey, I get 5 dozen eggs at Costco for $8 and change right now.
See, I mean that's not bad at all, especially with the price of eggs right now. But that's the kind of crap it's been cooking my tip for the last few days, and I'm just really sick and tired of the these bananas are organic. What are you talking about?
Yeah, and that just means you're going to pay an extra 30 cents.
That's it. I'm like, just tell me, just pick a different word. Call it super. Just call it super. And I'm fine with it. Like, these are super bananas. Oh, what's so super about them? Oh, we put them in whatever, alien semen, and then they grow and like, cool. Great. Super banana. Super
It's
orange.
just an excuse to make you spend more money.
I just hate when words are being used improperly and then have markup value. It drives me absolutely insane.
Yeah. The abuse of the English language these years is insulting.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And we're going to talk about an abuse of English language when it comes to the Odyssey. Anyway, welcome everybody. We're glad to have you here. Let's say hi to the chat, and then let's get started. Let's just get into this. Hail to the mods, Legatus, Algrim, and Ruben X doing the good work. Although, Legatus, I blame you for the haze that now exists over where I live right now because you didn't stop the Canadian forest fires.
Damn,
I went out yesterday. Dre knows the haze is out there. I saw it yesterday. And
I didn't leave until the storm. We had a storm over our head.
Yeah, the storm washed right over all of us yesterday.
When a storm came over, then I was like, all right, now I'm going to go ahead and go out. And then get poisoned by Mexicans. But, that's
anyway. But, so we'll blame Legatus. It's the only Canadian we got here. Hail, Ginger Norseman. How are you, my friend? Let's see who else is here. Dash is here to call me a boomer at every turn. Who else we got? Huzzah, son of Joxer. How you doing, my friend? And anybody else, let me see, anybody else actively chatting? Anybody else who is here and watching but not chatting, thank you for joining us. We hope you enjoy this. And if you are new, had a lot of new subscribers over the past few days, welcome. We hope you enjoyed this show. Hit that like button, sit back, relax, and let's get on with this. So, we are here. This has been a year in the making this past several days. 1 year ago, I said, this movie is a 50-50. It's either going to be one of the greatest things of all time or one of the greatest disasters of all time. I believe it's one of the greatest disasters of all time. But there are
in terms of at least quality, yes.
Quality. But there are a lot of people out there who are really slinging these balls for this movie. It is insane. But we're not going to talk about them specifically today because that's a whole nother conversation. You know what? They are literally legion on social media, and I can't possibly collect everything they're saying. My brain is on the verge of melting hearing what they're having to say because this movie is not a 10 out of 10.
Not even. No.
They're straight up hallucinating stuff that happens.
They're making shit up now.
Like the Athena bit. Athena's actually in the movie, guys. It's so thoughtful how it is.
We'll get to that. We will get to because here's what we're gonna do today. Now we're gonna go about this very surgically. We're gonna go about it piece by piece here. We're going to start with the box office, our technical discussion. We're gonna hold all comments specific about the movie till after that. Then we're gonna get into the movie and we're gonna go what I see as a step-by-step process. We're going to go over the story, the narrative. Then we're going to talk about the cast and their performances. And then we're going to talk about the production value and everything involved with that. And then at the end, we can spitball a few more things at the end if we feel like we need to. But that's how I want to approach this. A nice organized thing. We're going to do our best to stay constrained to those segments but it's us. So, you know, we might break out of that on occasion. But that is how we're going to do this. Anyway, let's go right to the box office. I don't want to warm up anything else. We're here for the Odyssey. That's why people are here today. They are here for the Odyssey. Box office. Gentlemen, last week we played a game at the end of the show. Dre said opening weekend box office 195. Jed said 225. I said 270. Gentlemen, your winner. Your winner at 264.
Wow.
Your winner.
Damn
call.
close.
Good call. Good call.
And it could go up or down because remember, whenever we do this, these Sunday numbers are usually somewhat of an approximation. So it could go up a couple million and down a couple million. But still, I hit the dart closest. My dart hit closest.
Well done.
My dart hit closest. Yeah.
Well done.
Because I said, you know what? I feel like that 120 is probably going to happen for the domestic. And I said the international is going to be somewhere around 150. Well, international to 139. So let's take a look. And mind you, as we get into this, let's just have a quick note here. We know the production, 250. They've given us an approximate marketing. I said originally it's got to be around 150. They say 125. So we'll play their game. We'll say 125. Sure. Jed, what is 250 plus 125?
375.
You multiply that by 2 because we know the marketing, and that gives us a nice round 750 for the break.
Which happens to be my overall worldwide estimation.
And mine is 700. I said 700. So there it is. We have a break even. So as we look at this now, 124 opening weekend, Thursday night.
Can I bring up the stuff that I found with that break even point?
Yeah, well, let's say that for after. Let's go over the numbers.
Okay.
That thing we were talking about before we went live. Yeah. So we had our Thursday, and the 17.6 million biggest live action Thursday of the year so far, which in 2 short weeks will be annihilated by Spider-Man completely.
When we've had flops and 2 animated films all year.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's why they said
Great.
live action. That's why they said live. They do their little twisting of the words to make it sound important when it isn't. And
these numbers are below Fantastic Four's previews last year, though.
And remember that it's also Nolan's biggest Thursday ever, too. Remember that. They have to that's their new favorite thing. Nolan's biggest this here. Nolan's biggest this there. But 17.6 million. Respectable for a Thursday. That is respectable.
Yeah. No, they're good.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Then a 51 million Friday, which that's good.
Very good.
Good. Yeah, with the previews added into it. That needs to be remembered. That 17 million is part of that 51.
Yeah. So it's roughly more of a 30 million Friday, but then that's a very large. Then they just keep increasing. I'm sorry. Then we got a 41 million on Saturday, and they're approximating another 31 million today, which gives us our 124 domestic plus our 260 plus our 139 international. Now, 124 is a respectable number. Do we agree on that? It's not
absolutely.
Yeah, very good.
That's a solid opening weekend.
It's not the blowout success people are pretending it is, especially considering the budget of this film, but it's more than respectable.
Yeah.
More than respectable.
Yeah. But now, what do you guys think of this 139 international? I think that's a little limp for an international, especially where Nolan really banks highly on international for all his movies. It's always a significant amount. I've looked at 139 is pretty weak, if you ask me. Feels a little weak.
I think we're going to have to see the next weekend numbers, just like this entire discussion. All depends on next week.
Yeah.
But yeah, the divide between the domestic and the international is not as wide as I expected it to be. Because the initial projections were like that 80 to 120 million domestically we've been talking about. And the internationals never got lower than 110. So that was a 30 million difference in the low domestic and the low international. That is not a 30 million difference in the end. So yeah. It's not bad, the divide, but it is not as wide as expected.
But that's the billions of other people around the world. That there's no matter how we as Americans put a lot of stress on our domestic box office because this is where it all begins. But there's still more people around the world that will go to the movies compared to our 350 odd million people in this country. So I expected more, considering I recently went over all of Nolan's big box offices. His international is always outstrips the domestic. It always does. With the exception, I made me think of Oppenheimer, which is more of an even split because of Barbenheimer and all that kind of stuff. But it's always been so. I look at this and Dre, that's a large climb to 750 break even right now.
Oh yeah, that's it's a tough ask, but man, it's a tough ask. I ain't gonna hold. That's a tough ask. To get to 750, this junk will have to hold. Oh my god. Wait, what's today's date? I'm sorry. Today is the
19th.
Okay.
In 11 days, Dre.
In 11 days, this movie falls off. This movie's gonna fall off a cliff in 11 days. So essentially, they have 11 days, honestly, to tell the truth and shame the devil. They got 11 days to get to, and I'm just gonna be as honest as I can, at least $625 million in order for it to limp to have to break even by August, like mid-August. So.
Yeah, it's got to
get
tough ask. Like 75% of its box office has to be made before Spider-Man comes out.
Absolutely.
Or break even is not on the table. Nolan, a lot of times, the best he looks at is 3 times his opening weekend. Even 3 times his opening weekend is only 790, which is barely above the reported break even.
And that's if we, as I've quoted it before, that's that slim to nothing margin of profit. That's not, you spent all this time, all this money with your IMAX cameras and all that shit, and all you eked out would have been $50 million in profit for all of that. With now the extra thing that Jed has dug up. Jed, you dug something up right before stream.
Yes, I've dug 2 things up. So one, this is going to be a front-loaded weekend, unlike most of Nolan's, because since The Dark Knight, he hasn't been a blockbuster film, like a must-see to see everything as soon as possible. They've been slow burns. Like Oppenheimer, that was absolutely a slow burn. No one cared to see that as immediately as they could. So it's front-loaded, absolutely. But also, it's IMAX loaded as well, and those tickets cost about twice as much as the average American ticket. So the math was done by Odin over at OMB Reviews, and he said this is the lowest ticket sold opening weekend for Nolan in over 10 years. So there's that to consider. But most importantly, we have Nolan's contract details for the Odyssey with Universal. He got $20 million up front for making that movie. So of that $250 million, $20 million goes to him directly. And I just find that as really hypocritical. I don't know if you guys know this. Actors on his films take massive pay cuts just to work with Nolan. Like Robert Downey Jr., for example, he took less than half his default asking price just to be in it.
Well,
and all the money's going to Nolan.
He got paid $60 million for Doomsday.
That's true. That's true. But yeah, in general, these actors are asking for well below what they normally do just to work with him. And then he takes all that extra money for himself anyway. But more importantly than that, Dre, would you be surprised to learn that Nolan himself gets 20% of the box office gross? Not net, gross. Which means the studio only gets 30%. So if the studio's only getting 30%, our 2.5 metric, or in this case 2, since we know the marketing, does not hold true. Because that 50% is an average between 40 and 60% that the theaters take. If they're only taking home 30%, maybe a little more, maybe a little less, the break-even point is actually 1.25 billion.
Oh my god!
Because Nolan has
actual monies.
In actual monies.
Yeah.
In actual gross profit because Nolan is getting 20% of the gross. That's insane. 20% of the net. All right, great. Yeah, that makes sense. I'll be all on board with that. That was the whole discussion with Obsession, how much the director was getting, because his percentage was based on net, not gross. These people don't understand the difference between net and gross ever.
They
never will. But yeah, I'm still going to stick with 750 as we're going to play with this as the break-even point. But with the knowledge of Nolan's contract, that means the studio's not making money. Nolan has already made $75 million from this movie as of today. $75 million. He's happy. Doesn't matter to him. He's made $75 million.
It's in his contract.
Mhm.
That is in his contract.
And that's the $20 million up front, and then his 20% cut of what's out there right now.
Mm-hmm.
He's pretty happy, I'm sure.
So
it literally does not matter to him how successful this film is.
He was out there pushing this movie hard from the beginning. Okay, I wonder if he really. I wonder what his I wonder what his contract looks like every time, or if this is just something now in the last.
This is very similar to Oppenheimer. Oppenheimer, he brought home nearly $100 million.
So he's got fuck you money at this point.
Oh,
He's
absolutely.
got fuck you money, which is surprising considering his box office. As you went over, Adam, he makes money. Absolutely, his films are successful, well liked, and make a profit for the most part. But they're not, blowout James Cameron successes. Like James Cameron at this point, you can justify a 20% cut for him. Like he makes that much money for the studio.
He understands the normie algorithm.
Absolutely,
Cameron knows what to do. They come in, then they forget about it, then they remember again next time. For the most part,
Nolan's had $2 billion films, and that was pre-COVID.
Dark Knight,
Dark Knight Rises,
and Oppenheimer got $1 billion with digital and home movie sales.
Yeah, out of theater, it got over the $1 billion. I don't think that's enough to warrant this type of deal, but that falls into the whole he screwed over Warner Brothers. The behind-the-scenes fight that had him switch from Warner Brothers to Universal. All that is sounding a lot more true when he's demanding contracts like this.
Mm-hmm. And Universal, as a direct competitor, would of course say, "Oh, this is a big coup. We're getting Christopher Nolan and everything he's going to do from this point forward." Problem is this, though. So we just talked about as 750 is the break even, and we've agreed that is a massive hill to get to. And if Jed's information, which we could talk about it, but that's a new type of conversation. I don't think anybody's willing to listen to right now. With no one.
It's just something to acknowledge.
Yeah. I mean, it's an interesting conversation, and I believe every word you just said. But that's not something we could, as analysts, as reviewers, we can't sell that to the general public. There is no way we will get pushback so much. But it's an interesting point that I wanted you to let us know about. That's fascinating. But for the sake of normalcy, we'll still say 750 to 800, something like that. As you guys said, this thing is front loaded with the IMAX, with the Nolanites, with everybody going crazy about this. And as we've talked about, Spider-Man is looming. He's clinging to that wall.
A lot of those premium formats, except for IMAX in the US.
And he's watching, and he's going to get ready to web shoot and yoink away every single breakfast, lunch, and dinner that Nolan and Odyssey are eating. But we have a problem. Dre said you got to make $625 million in the next 11 days to get your point. There's a very giant headwind called is it fair to say there's a massive divide surrounding this movie? It'd be one thing if it was being universally praised, or at least let's just say an 80-20 split of people going, yay. No, this is literally a 50-50 again. I think my 50-50 still holds true for this. Half the people swear by this literally saying greatest thing I've ever seen. All-timer, top 5 movie of all time, everything's great. And then there's everybody else on the other side says, I'm dumber for having watched this. My brain is a little bit. My IQ has dropped 10 points because I slogged through this.
I would agree. Metacritic reflects that. Rotten Tomatoes, of course, is not trustworthy, but Metacritic is at 50-50 right now. And the current thing that the stands are rolling out is the comparison with Return of the King. That's the big thing that they're doing right now, saying Odyssey is better than Return of the King.
And what I love about that is they have the brazenness to show those two metrics. And the Return of the King one has over 200,000 reviews, and it holds on to its 96%. This thing only has a couple thousand at this point, and that is a massively different ratio of numbers for that math to create a 96% after now literally 25 years, and it has held on to that. I don't know if these people were smoking, Jay. They're not even smoking the good crack. They're smoking the
that's
stuff that
not
has
good
made
crack.
them got the shivers and the jitters.
Yeah, that's
you
the
know?
stuff my cousin Ray Ray used to sling. That's that garbage. You don't
Yeah.
want that. That's bad. And like you're
But-
right. Like as far as and it seems like the divide is a very simple divide. There is the army of what do you call them? Nolanites?
Nolanites.
No,
I'm
Nolanites.
calling
I think that's the
Nolanites.
word.
You want to call
Yeah,
them
I think
Nolan
that's good.
Bros, but I reserve that for calling people Snyder Bros. I want to.
Yeah, I think Nolanites is more appropriate because of what the director actually creates. I think that's actually very, very smart. The Nolanites and everyone else that knows the story. I think that's the big divide.
Source material knowledge is a huge
Yeah.
contributing factor.
Mhm.
Yes, and I think that's where the big divide is. So I think everyone with a pair of eyes can recognize that this movie is well shot, it's well lit, shooting on real locations and all that stuff. All that stuff is standard
That's as far as it
No-
goes, though.
Nolan stuff.
That's
And
as far as it
to
goes.
acknowledge how great the cinematography is fair across the board. Once we start talking about the story, that's when the Nolanites just start lapping it up, and everybody else is like, "Hey, wait a minute, that's not how that's supposed to happen." And that's where I think the divide comes from, especially for those that are fans of like the 1997 one, which in my personal opinion holds up a whole lot better than this. It's yeah, so it's a heck of a divide. There's no question about that. But that 50-50 I think is more than fair.
And I think to double down on what you're saying, it's a lack of an ability to have a nuanced discussion, as Jed always says. These people don't understand nuance. And I'll give you, as we get into it, when we get to the review discussion part of this, that there are, of course, things to be acknowledged that are technical achievements with this movie.
Absolutely.
But within
Absolutely.
within that production value, there's still a whole lot of mess in there. This movie is an editing nightmare. It is an editing nightmare, and that soundtrack. But we'll get into that. So to top off this end of the conversation, 750 million break even. It pulls in 264 for its opening weekend, which is no small amount, but considering the massive divide, the massive lack of full positive reception, this movie has a very small window, as we've talked about in other movies that have rough starts and need a lot of money and are running straight into a bigger, nastier movie that everybody actually wants to see. And Spider-Man is that bigger, nastier movie. It is going to come out. Its Thursday is going to be a $30+ million Thursday. That's what its Thursday is going to be. We already have the predictions of its opening weekend as a $500 million plus global opening weekend, which dwarfs this movie. Now, that may be a very front-loaded as well, but I have a feeling there'll still be a lot of return views, not just people saying, I went out and watched the Odyssey right away after I saw it. That's how much I loved it. Really? That means you went and spent 6 hours in a movie theater? Press X to doubt.
Huh.
There is probably a load in your bowels and a bladder full of piss that you have to go take care of someplace. And I doubt you're going to that movie theater bathroom. I wouldn't. Anyway, point is, this movie has a very, very, very long distance to go. And even if it hits $700 million, which I think is in doubt right now, I think that's in doubt. It's legitimately in doubt with, in my belief, it needed over $300 million this weekend to have a shot. With Spider-Man looming. And as we all agree, with Spider-Man looming, that will suck all the air out of this movie. And now they'll keep it in there as long as they can. They will. But to very large diminishing returns, I say, because once attention is off this movie, what's going to draw it back after the initial conversations and discussions and yellings and screams is going on? I don't think there is, Jed. I don't think there's anything.
There's going to be the cult of Nolan who will keep talking about it for another year or so, I think. But no one talks about the Oppenheimer very much anymore. And Interstellar is probably his main film that is talked about regularly. It's brought up in conversations a lot. People keep talking about it for positive and negative reasons. But a lot of his stuff is remembered fondly, but it's not always relevant in the zeitgeist. So I do believe after award season calms down, because I do believe
that's good. It's going to get all hot and bothered over the awards again.
Oh, God, yes.
Go to the Oscars. Go to the Oscars. Oh, God.
After that, I think this film will just die away and people won't talk about it that much.
It's
I don't
not
think
timeless.
it's survived the decade. Oh God, no.
It's not timeless.
No, it is not timeless. This is, an adaptation of a 3,000-year-old poem. There's a reason why Homer stood the test of time and Nolan won't survive the test of the decade.
So as we end out of this conversation, you guys want to predict the drop off next week?
Ooh, that's a good one.
I'll let you,
I'm going to try to be a little bit more conservative than I have in the past. I'm going to say a 55% drop.
That's what I say, 55.
I'd like it to be like 70, but that's
I mean, it depends. It depends on everybody that wanted to see it has seen it already. So, and I don't know who and once again, I don't know the international if it's been released everywhere internationally. So I don't know.
We don't get the numbers hasn't
exactly.
recreated their old system of showing us when releasing
exactly. So based on the fact that I don't know if it's been released everywhere internationally, I'm going to say 60%.
60?
Yeah.
60 drop? Yeah. So I said it last night. I said 55 and Jed says 60, but that's still relatively the same range.
Yeah.
And I believe this thing needs a 40 to 50 hold in order to keep pace with the money it needs to make, and I don't think it's going to get that. If this thing has an under 50% hold, I will be astonished, because I think the word of mouth is going to tank this. I really do, and that's because as we move on down to this, and this is where we're going to spend the rest of our time today. We're going to talk about this movie because I did my very short, bare bones thoughts of it, with the promise of now we'll break it down, scenes, dialogue, everything here and now, because I felt it would be better presentation for us to bounce back and forth and maybe say if someone's overreacting now, because I can believe I will be told, oh, Adam, you're overreacting. You overreacted. Though, Dre, I apologize to my score I gave Troy last week. I apologize to that.
Thank you.
I apologize to that. I should have given it a little bit higher score, because I can't score this higher than Troy. I cannot.
See, I had that thought in mind, so I'm very happy with my Troy score.
I was living in the moment and in the past, but I must apologize, because Drake called me a fool. I must apologize. Anyway, so here we are. I've already given my short thoughts, and a lot of people here have logically, since they're on this channel, have already seen my review. So I'm going to let you guys give your short bullet point thoughts before we go down the list and start with breaking down this narrative of Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey. So, Jed, how are you feeling overall?
Just real quick, how long do we want to delay spoilers, or at all?
After this. Spoilers are after this. These are
okay. Because a lot of my problems come with the spoilers of this film. Yeah. But as I said in my review, I believe this film was made by someone with the soul of an engineer rather than a storyteller. Like Dre said, there are very good technical aspects of it. I think the cinematography is actually decent, not blow your mind crazy. And that aspect holds true for a lot of the technical aspects of this film. They're functional, but not extraordinary. Like the horror sequences with Polyphemus. It's functional, absolutely functional, but it's not blow you away. The body horror sequences transforming into pigs, functional, but not extraordinary. That's where a lot of my praise ends. I think everyone in the cast is miscast. There's not anyone who I think is in the correct role. There are some people in the film who should be in other roles, but most of them shouldn't be coming anywhere near a story with this much gravitas. And that's the biggest problem. I don't see anyone in this film with any gravitas whatsoever. Matt Damon playing Odysseus, one of the most famous heroes in human history, has the perpetual look of slightly confused. Every scene, he's slightly confused. He looks like he wandered onto the wrong film set and is too polite to ask for directions. It feels so out of place. And Anne Hathaway, who I thought was going to be the best cast person in the film, and with a good script, maybe that would have held true. The writing for her character was so all over the place. She went from, just kind of being there in existence to scream machine. They made her so bitchy. And I have, countless lore complaints. Most of those will be in the spoilers section, but they changed the point of the story. They removed the gods, which created plot holes, and then Nolan slapped band-aids on those plot holes. By grounding it, he made it not function as a plot. So yeah, in my review, I gave this film a 3.5 out of 10, and I'm still fairly confident in that score. it is a boring slog of a film. If it were half the length, it could be argued that it is a parody of modern day cynicism. If that were the case, I could see some benefit to this. If you somehow also embrace that he wanted to make a medieval Viking film and not a Greek film, all you have to do is take off the helmets, change the names, and say he's coming home from the Siege of Paris instead of the Siege of Troy, and this film becomes better. But because it's ancient Greek and he doesn't include anything of value from that era, it just feels so contradictory. That comes in with the dialogue, the language, the set pieces, the color, making the Mediterranean look ugly. It's just so incompatible with the reality, with the source material, and with just common sense that it doesn't succeed in any basic way as a story. It's a tech demo for IMAX films. That's all this thing is. And tech demos should not be 3 hours long.
Ah, lovely. Lovely. I love all of that. Dre, I haven't heard really anything you'd have to say about this yet, because we have not spoken since last week.
You have not.
And knowing that you are a fan of the Odyssey, I predicted you would not be happy today. Am I right?
I am not a happy panda, not one bit. Like I mentioned earlier, I think the cinematography, all that stuff, I thought that was done excellently, and lighting and stuff. Everything else with this film made me want to hurt the people in the theater I was with. It was like the disjointed nature of how the film even started. The editing was a big problem for me. The depiction of the Cyclops almost made me walk out of the theater.
And that's your favorite part.
It's my favorite part.
It's my favorite part.
It's my favorite part. And it was absolutely abysmal. The omission of Achilles is disrespectful in every way, shape, and form. I don't even want. We'll get into casting and stuff like that. I'm pretty sure we'll burn the building down for that.
We're going to descend the ladder.
But my overall feelings, and and Jed touched on it very, very well. Matt Damon as Odysseus. I saw Jason Bourne. I'm not even gonna be. I'm gonna be as honest as I can with you. Nothing about him. Nothing about him was Odysseus. He was not a trickster. He was not an intelligent man.
Not clever.
He was not clever. He didn't do anything. Nothing. He did nothing. He just went with the flow. And I'm just like, bro, what am I seeing? The omission of the different islands. The 3-hour film that still felt like we were missing stuff. It's an absolute unmitigated disaster. We're spending, 45 minutes in Ithaca? 45 minutes in Ithaca? We don't need to be with the suitors. We already know what they're about. We already know what they want. We don't need this. We don't need to watch Themistocles all this time. We don't have to focus on his dog. We don't have to do all this nonsense. I want to see him go to the island of the air god. I want to see him go to the island of the giants and spend more than 45 seconds there. What the heck are we doing? What are we doing? This film is a mess from top to bottom, from start to finish. The casting is bad. The script is horrible. The armor is disgusting. It's a bad film. Now, there are a couple scenes that I like. We'll get into that later. But the overall feeling of this film, I felt like I wasted 3 hours because I watched a 3-hour film and got nothing out of it. You know what I did Friday night when I got home? I watched the 3-hour TV special, 1997.
Okay.
And had a tremendous time. That film that was made 29 years ago is 500, mark my words, 500,000% better than this film. It is superior in every way outside of technical stuff that didn't exist back then. As far as story, plot, development, characters, immensely superior. Bad women, beautiful Jones up in that original joint. All these broads look like
Cersei is
and Jed. All of them look like me and Jed. Every single woman in this joint like me and Jed. Even they found a way to uglify Anne Hathaway, who is not an ugly white woman.
And she looks normal now too. That is the weird thing. As she's back on this press tour, pregnant, she looks like her normal vampire self. In that movie, she's all bloated.
She just had a Botox appointment.
She looks horrible. Every single woman in this film looks like me and Jed. That's it. So we got no beautiful women. We have nothing. We have no good story. We don't relate to Odysseus at all. We don't even care about his freaking journey because we don't know anything about him. We spent 3 hours
and he's the villain.
All right. You know what? Let's move on. But one real quick. Let's have a quick interaction with the chat here because the way it's going to go, I want to make sure the chat is not ignored. Sebastian asks, "Is Nolan cooked?" I don't know yet.
I wouldn't say that. No,
I don't know yet. No,
he's the only one that makes films.
I believe that Nolan has enough traction in Hollywood that he's untouchable. I think he's untouchable.
He surfed through the Tenet flop.
Yeah, and that was nothing compared to what's going to go on here. So I don't think Nolan is going to be affected by this because he will never lose the Nolanites. They will worship him to the end of their days. They will make excuses to the end of their days. There's no objectivity there. There's only Christopher Nolan. As I've now started saying, and I'm going to do a different commentary on this week, Nolan is the Emperor's new clothes right now.
Absolutely.
That's what this is. This is the Emperor's new clothes. They will say anything to remain in his good graces, to remain part of the non-dissension. Because if you're if you're in the dissenting ranks, suddenly, you're on the wrong with the wrong people all of a sudden. Because a lot of them made this political. This has nothing to do with politics, as far as I'm concerned.
Oh God, no!
Bad movie. It's a bad movie.
It's a bad movie. And like, okay, if you want to say that there's political inklings in there with certain casting,
sure, definitely.
Well, they're trying to make it about politics, about it's an immigration allegory with all the let people into your house and give them whatever they want, the Zeus's Law stuff. That's reaching, I think.
That's beyond reaching.
I don't know what Brad is saying here because I was talking to Dermy when I was watching this on Friday or on Thursday. And I remember at that exact moment when I still an hour and a half and Dermy was almost done. I said, I still have an hour and a half to go. And he was going, I'm done. And I said, and I purposely said lucky bastard, to mock this movie in the term lucky bastard in the beginning.
They say it so many times.
I know. But Nolan's got 2 more strikes. Listen,
Nolan should count, but
Nolan for me, and I've said this before, I am not a Nolan guy, never have been. But as we proved once again yesterday in our discussion of The Prestige, I can be objective when I need to be to remark on when something is done well. But back to the Odyssey now in general discussion. The Odyssey is not a good movie. It's not even mid. As far as I'm concerned, if I'm going to give a more realistic score, not just screaming 0 out of 10 in the heat of my anger when I was doing this stuff for the first point, this movie is sub 5. It's sub 50%, sub 5 out of 10, and it has to be lower than 3 or 4 because I have to give, as I said before, I have to apologize to my Troy hate from last weekend. I must apologize because
at least the action in Troy is phenomenal.
Yeah, I should have given it 1 or 2 more points.
The strategy of the fights don't make any sense, but the action is good in Troy.
But here we go with Odyssey. Here's how we're going to roll through this now, as I mentioned earlier. We're going to talk about the story now, the narrative, its choices, and all that kind of stuff. Then we'll move on to the performances and the actors, and then we'll talk about the production value and all that goes with that. So this is in no way, shape, or form the Odyssey. Because as Dre has already mentioned, they omitted stuff. We haven't said how they've mashed shit together. And then they just flat out leave shit. And they abuse Nolan. I'm going to say what it is. Nolan abuses the mythology in order to ground it. And Jed has already touched on this. And we're going to jump around the narrative here because that's the only way we're going to get through this. We can't just go through it.
The film jumps around, so might as well.
Yeah, so we might as well too. One of the biggest offenses is to say Zendaya is Athena. No. In the end, she's nothing but a delusion of his guilt and some would say PTSD and grief. No,
she's a manifestation of mental illness.
it was a bait and switch by Nolan. There are no gods in this. Are there creatures? Sure, but
the film can't start with in a time of apparent magic and then show explicit magic with these monsters.
Yes.
Or the way these monsters look, and the monsters are all bland and nothing. Scylla is just literally limbs with teeth yoinking. Out of frame. Yoinking
Dre, with Charybdis, do you know how they filmed the whirlpool?
No, I don't know.
It's practical. It's practical. The whirlpool, at least its foundation.
I mean, I'm sure it was real. Like, it looked real because
it was tiny as shit. It's 3 jet skis spinning in a circle.
Of course it is.
But let's now, with this narrative, taking out the gods, doing a Nolan bait and switch just to do his grounded shit, it's insulting. While you're saying the whole time, law of Zeus, or the gods this, the gods that, and then saying the gods are in nature around us. No, dude, just show us the fucking gods.
Yeah.
Commit to it. Just don't try and do your Nolan thing. Just do it. And that's an insult.
His fence sitting was offensive to me.
Mm-hmm. It was jarring.
Yeah, especially when it was revealed that Athena was just a girl that got murdered. Athena is there. This is a world of gods and gorgons. This isn't manifestation. They're actually there. Athena comes to him repeatedly because that is the deity of his island, who he worships. So she appears to him on several occasions, and even in the original book, guides his son away from the marauders. Mm-hmm. So it's not a manifestation. The gods are there, and you can't say, oh, gods are kind of there when we have actual gorgons that can transform people. You can't have it both ways.
And now, Dre, let's jump right to what I know is probably the thing that's got the boil on your ass right now. Polyphemus, who they don't even name. They don't even name him.
It is so offensive to me.
That scene is garbage from beginning to end.
We'll
talk about the practical effects of that later. But right now, your favorite thing is the whole cleverness of nobody.
It's my favorite part of literally every depiction. Even if you go back to 1954 to 1997, all these different depictions show that this is how we learn that Odysseus is a clever bastard. This is the scene.
And also a narcissist and arrogant.
His hubris at the end of it.
Yes.
It's the whole thing that facilitates this happening. It's only like, a few hundred miles. The whole 10-year journey cannot physically make any sense unless you pissed off Poseidon and the winds later on. So you need to show Odysseus' intelligence, character building, his hubris, character building, and Polyphemus setting Poseidon against him.
Yep.
And that justifies the plot.
This scene pissed me off so much that I almost hit the dude next to me. I almost punched him.
Did you
I
know
didn't
him?
even know that guy. I didn't know him. He was a random stranger. I looked at him. I said, I'm going to hit this man. I'm going to hit him. Because this anger has to go somewhere. Because the setup was going exactly the way I want. We follow the sheep. We go into the cave. We see the sheep. And I'm saying, okay, if you want to make this into like a monster horror moment, fine. I'm okay with that. Him snatching up men, eating them, whatever.
Yeah, the start of it was fine.
Yeah, all that stuff was great. Then he says nothing and says, hey, he's going to sleep now. Let's take a nap. Nigga, are you stupid? He just ate your people, and now you want to go in a corner and nap?
No,
under what circumstance?
Drunk. Odysseus got him drunk is why he passed out.
And then the idea of that, him being a trickster, if you're going to eat my men, please eat me first because my head has magic. And then that conversation allows him to manipulate the Cyclops. But no, everyone just takes a freaking nap? What kind of crack are we smoking? I just seen my men get eaten alive, and I'm going to take a nap next to the monster that did it? Are we all huffing paint And then you immediately, like, we have no reason to blind him, except the only thing that was instead of, oh, when we kill him in his sleep, oh, yeah, we got to move the rock. But now we don't establish why. We don't have my name is nobody. We don't have the arrogance of him calling out and actually saying his name and then have the Cyclops call out to his father to curse his journey. There's no establishment.
He just grumbles, Poseidon, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, after the blinding, he grumbles a little bit. And that part, the sound mixing physically hurt my ears, Dre. I had to plug my ears during that moment when Polyphemus eventually spoke.
Yes, and I'm just like, commit to the gods. Commit to it.
You have to.
You have to commit. And the idea that you never have a conversation, we never get the trickery. We never learn that Odysseus has any type of skill of manipulation or anything. He sucks. Our protagonist, I use that term very loosely, sucks. And I couldn't believe my eyes. So they immediately blind him. The Cyclops does not react. He doesn't do anything. To the next morning, he's letting his sheep out.
And
so
the
he sat
hand,
there blinded.
Oh, the hand barely moving, and they wrap straw on their back. They're supposed to climb under the sheep.
Under the sheep. I could not believe my eyes. And then it just makes Odysseus like a moron for shooting him. Like, oh, he ate our men, so I'll make him pay. That's not how that works.
And the blinding already did that.
Yes. We already know he's blinded already and didn't react. He's blinded already. So now shoot the arrows, we can get a boring chase scene off the island.
Nolan's alternative to saying my name is Odysseus. When people tell you who blinded me, he thought shooting a single arrow would build up all that same character work. That's what I mean, is when he strips the gods out and the magic, he creates plot holes, and then he puts a Band-Aid on it. Shooting the arrow as he goes is a Band-Aid over the character development that we should have gotten.
And it only gets worse, though, because as we've said, this thing contracts islands. It looks like the same island everywhere you go.
Yep.
So you don't know you've gone anywhere. And
the Lestragonians and Circe are literally on the same island. It's explicitly the same island. How is she okay?
Let's talk about that. We're going to stay focused on the Odyssey part of this and how
the islands,
limp it all is.
Yeah.
Lestragonians, well, gone there. First of all, Nolan had big dudes in armor. No, that's all fucking CGI. Shut the fuck up. These are not.
No, it's a lot of forced perspective. He was using Lord of the Rings techniques.
Yeah, but
it's passable. It's fine. Yeah. Like the forced perspective aspect of it. Yeah,
but there's still some CGI in there. But then a lot of it doesn't make sense. They run on there. They get trapped by tiny little sticks that rise up from nowhere.
Yeah,
out of frame.
And then and then they just get massacred. We run away. And then if Jed is correct,
you can't skip the baby.
Oh, the crying baby.
The fully armored child who's like, and then
who laughs and then cries, which is creepy as fuck. That's a CGI face on that thing. That was a CGI face. Creepy as hell. And then you escape that, and then it's Circe. It's been a while since I read the Odyssey, but I remembered this very clearly. We get to Circe. The soldiers get turned into pigs.
Mm-hmm.
And Odysseus fucks her for a year.
Oh, yeah.
Uh-huh.
And that's the beginning of
and Hermes helps him survive that. Without Hermes, he has to finger a bird instead.
Yep.
So one of my biggest problems in this movie is, and we'll talk about the acting in a minute, though, is that how it just everything happens and is flat. The Circe stuff is flat and annoying, and whatever her name that does Circe, we'll talk about it more later. I hated that scene so much, not because I was freaked out by the body horror. It's her. And I have to try and not go into performance right now because I want to save that for the next segment. But the sound of her voice, the things she's saying, all I'm hearing is feminist bullshit. Oh,
and that's everything she said on the press tour about it.
Yeah, you are the pigs are what you really are. Men are pigs. Men are evil. Men are. It's just like shut up. And I'm not even uncomfortable by watching the so-called body horror stuff. I just thought it was trying to show you something while not show you something, and it's Nolan's attempt at mystic and magic, which literally was ham-fisted, like her shoving her cock hand down that dude's throat.
What was a cock hand?
I do have a question with this sequence.
Okay.
How long after they left Troy do you think the Cersei sequence happens? Because Calypso does thankfully explicitly say he was on her island for 7 years. So there's still the 3 years where all this is happening. How early into the 3 years do you think Cersei is?
Well, that's a problem because this movie, especially with the Odyssey part of it, does zero to show you passage of time.
Absolutely.
Except missing ships and people. That's it.
The reason I bring it up is because of the end of the film. So those animals that were those people who were already transformed by Cersei earlier and all that armor out back of her house, those are all sea people. And the sea people weren't created until the fall of Troy because of Odysseus. So she slaughtered that many people. Sea people were able to rise up, and that many of them come to her random ass island in at most a year, I'd say.
Sure.
Logically, that doesn't track. The sea people stuff is the worst part of the film. It makes Odysseus a villain. He is one of the biggest villains in human history in this story.
And okay, so the only thing I will combat is that I liked the scene with Cersei. I didn't really care about what she was saying. I already turned my brain off the feminist dribble. I already know all that stuff was happening. I enjoyed the scene because I was a desperate man for entertainment. So I enjoyed the scene.
The body horror is functional.
I thought it was functional. I thought that was the only thing that made me be like, oh, this is actually interesting. Like, especially I'm pretty sure there's some form of CGI and stop motion, and there's a lot of cool effects that's happening simultaneously. And I thought that was done very, very well. And I thought this was going to be an opportunity for Odysseus to show how smart he is, even though he didn't really. Played a weird game of chicken when it comes to that. But then we go back to the point, which I have to make. Where is the dirty donkey sex that's going on in this thing?
There's no sex or nudity in this. There's a shitload of nudity in the book.
Oh, Cersei. First of all, it's supposed to be a bad jump, but we'll get to casting later.
Yeah. She's supposed to be.
She is supposed to be dropping the draws. Okay. That's part of the arrangement. Like, hey, put this meat on me, and then you can get your boys back. None of that. We have a weird game of chicken. He chokes a crow, then he gets his boys back. And once again, I like the fact that she puts her hands and actually forms them back into men. All that stuff was really, really cool. And then getting the information or whatever. But it is an absolutely inferior product to what it's supposed to be. This is supposed to be the start of his downfall, is when he starts messing around with Cersei and giving her that good old Ithaca penis.
And it's supposed to be the hypocrisy of Odysseus in this narrative. Penelope is supposed to be chased while he's gone, and he's off getting wet at every turn.
Yep. And all of that is missing. All of that is not here. And once again, this is another opportunity to establish him as a trickster or something, even if you wanted to ignore all the sex, which is crazy. But now you have to establish him as a trickster, establish him as cunning. And you didn't do that. You was like, I'll kill your crow sister. How do you know? No. Because she's in a cage, the bird's in a cage. All these dudes is animals. All animals are everywhere. Like, oh, this one must be special to you. So I'll kill it if you don't let my men go. What?
And on top of that,
bro,
as I like to call it, if for the supernatural reference, this is dumb Winchester's moment. You see a pile of armor out there.
Yo,
that's not a red flag to you.
My man looked at the armor and
poisoned
said,
yet.
Yeah, it was rough.
It's so dumb. The average intelligence of this film is low. Low.
Yeah.
And the fact that Odysseus can't even seem smart in comparison to the dumbasses in the film is really telling.
Yeah.
It's tough.
And
it's tough,
but
man.
then we move on. We get what I guess they jumped right to good, gotta go to Land of the Dead. And now here's where I start to get pissed off because there's a reason I haven't talked about this till now. Because in the truth, Ellen Page and Lupita Nyong'o, they were the tip of the fucking iceberg, like we always said. They were just out there to let us know there was going to be something dreadfully wrong with this movie.
Yep.
And when we get to this Land of the Dead scene, we understand how dreadfully impactful, and I say dreadfully impactful on purpose, Ellen Page's Sinon is supposed to be. Now, we didn't start our discussion with the start of the movie, but the whole start of the movie starts with that woman. That's a woman. That's not a man. It's a woman running towards this half-buried Trojan horse, which immediately she gets ganked. Why is she there to begin with? We don't really understand.
Why is she there? Why is the horse buried after 2 days?
that's the
Why did they
question,
bury it in the
Jed.
surf?
It's
No,
there
Nolan
so
said
we
he
can
had
learn
this
they were
image in his
drowning.
head.
It's there so we could learn they were drowning and pissing and shitting all over themselves.
Yep. And we could hear them say fuck a few times. There's way too much modern day swearing in this too.
We'll get
But
to the that's next
the
segment.
dialogue.
We'll
Well,
get
Dre,
dialogue in there.
Christopher Nolan said he's had this idea of the buried horse in the surf for 20 years. It doesn't need to make any sense to him. It's just cool image in head, make image real. But there's no reason they should have buried it. It's no reason that it actually would have naturally been buried. There's no reason they would have put it in the actual surf.
This is why you need
And there's no
someone
reason
who
it can
knows.
stand on its hind legs.
I hate that scene so much. It actually hurts my kneecaps. I hate that scene so much because we're going to talk about casting in a little bit, but I have to address this.
Go ahead.
In what universe am I going to have a 90-pound, scrawny woman baby man in my Continental Army that has survived 10 years in my service? And then I'm going to leave this scrawny 90-pound soldier to then pass down the message.
Just
That
write
we're
a
leaving?
note.
But here's it. This is all done so that Sinon could be the driving moral force,
Which
of
is ridiculous.
The best of us. Because Jed, this is first of all, this is a Roman fanfic character inserted in all
Yes.
this.
So a lot of people don't know this. Many of the aspects of this myth outside of Homer that we have are from Roman retellings like the Aeneid. It is Roman subversion. The Romans took what they wanted from Greek mythology and then mocked everything that was left. They actually saw Odysseus as a bad guy, which is why a lot of their versions show him in a negative light. It's the whole reason Medusa, if you know Medusa's story, you probably know of the one where she's kind of a victim, that she was, raped in a temple. That's all Roman fanfic. None of that is in the Greek version. She's just literally a monster. The same's true in this. Sinon is not in Homer or the Greek myths. There's no one left behind on the beach. The whole thing about the horse being an offering to Athena is from the Roman retellings. A lot of modern day movies include that portion as well, like the 90s miniseries did as well. Sinon is in the 90s miniseries at the beginning. But none of that is accurate. What makes more sense, it's not explicitly said in Homer, to be fair, but what makes more sense is the horse is the image of Poseidon. He birthed horses onto lands in the crashing waves. So they are making this offering to bless them with a safe journey home from Poseidon. The Trojans see it and think, hey, they left an offering to Poseidon for a safe journey home. Let's take it and try to curry favor with Poseidon so that they don't have a safe journey home. You don't need a guard to say, it's a gift. Why would it, in any way, shape, or form, in any version of the story, why does it make sense for it to be a gift for the Trojans and not an offering to a god? You don't need someone standing there. It actually makes it worse if you leave someone standing there because they're going to be immediately suspicious of it. So, yeah, you just need to leave the horse there, and mythologically, everything gets automatically ironed out.
So, Jed, what you're saying is that Troy did it better.
Yeah, Troy did it
And it's
better.
a more
Troy's
realistic
horse,
looking.
that horse, I actually love that horse.
You could believe that they built that horse with the materials they had on hand, not this perfectly sculpted
Bronze-looking, rearing horse.
going like this too. Urgh! So you can open up the cock door and climb out later.
Mm.
And then, but they do it all of this, and I don't want to talk about Land of Dead, but I need to talk about the Troy section here because this also really pisses me off from a strategic perspective. So after they lug the horse in there, and they're going to lug it to the Temple of Athena, and by the way, I swear I saw a pyramid in the upper right-hand corner of Troy when they were going in there. I saw a pyramid. I swear I saw a pyramid.
What?
What's a pyramid doing there? If I could get a screenshot, I would. And when I can, I will to see if I prove my point. I'm going to wait till I get a real screenshot of this. Point is, they get it in there. And then, of course, the famous let's everybody get out. Okay, fine. Dre, that is one of the worst interpretations and adaptations of opening the gates of Troy I've ever seen.
Oh my god!
They sounded the fucking alarm. There are troops attacking them where they're trying to open it. What the hell? They should all be dead.
Adam, I swear to you, on my kneecaps, that scene almost made me flip my popcorn. And that popcorn was free, darn it. And I almost threw that joint at the person in front of me. I'm sitting there, I'm like, he's trying to build tension or whatever. The alarm was sounded.
Yeah.
And they are, and
shooting arrows.
I swear to you, there are 8 dudes trying to open the gate. There's 40 of y'all. You ain't even gotta aim right. Just everybody just fire. You're gonna hit somebody.
Well, they can't see out of their helmets.
Troy got it right. They slit their throats. They silently opened the door, and everybody poured the fuck in, and the sacking of Troy begins.
Yes, because Troy is better than this movie. Troy is better than this.
The meme came
100%.
Even
the meme
close.
came true.
Troy is more respectful of the gods than this. Even though they're also completely removed from the story, all the characters believe in the gods, respect the gods, and if they do, something like sacking the Temple of Apollo, everyone else is mortified. They don't have the hero burn down the temple in Pylos and nobody respond. Odysseus burnt down a fucking temple and no one gave a shit.
Yeah.
So did the whole sacking of Troy is god awful. And of course, then we haven't even mentioned fucking Agamemnon, because what's to fucking
Darth
mention
Batman
until now?
on his hoverboard.
I'm sorry. The Nolanites are running around saying, "Oh, he's ore farming. We made fun of it at the beginning, but it was so great." No, he looks fucking stupid. Benny Safdie looks like a fucking moron walking around in that goddamn armor suit, not saying anything until
the horse has more testosterone than Benny.
Until we get to the land of the dead, and it's like, "Hello, Odysseus. My wife murdered me when I got home because I sacrificed our child." What?
That's Roman fanfic as well. Yeah. That is in the Roman version of it, which is intentional subversion of the Greek original. That's not in the Iliad.
Yeah. He does get murdered by his wife and her lover.
Real quick. Shout out to Ginger Norseman. Yes, everybody around me felt the fear of the gods because I was not quiet.
These are lucky people. These are lucky people.
I'm telling you, I was not a quiet hamster in the theater. I was not. I made my voice very clear. I was very upset throughout this film.
Let me ask you this though: Were people around you enjoying this movie? Did you?
The only person.
Yeah, how full was your theater?
Oh, okay. My theater. So, like I said, as I said before, I was going to go see it in IMAX. So we went to IMAX theater was pretty full. Everybody
went in IMAX,
that's expected.
IMAX was pretty full. So everybody that respects, except the seat directly next to me on the left, which is fine. I got to stretch my arms, but because I sit at the top and everybody in the bottom. Now in the bottom right, there was some people clapping and stuff, but they sounded like women. But they didn't clap. Now let me be clear, they didn't clap to the end. They didn't start clapping and celebrating until we got the killing of the suitors. Like then they were like, "Yay, he's doing stuff." That's when they reacted. Is when stuff finally happened. After
we'll get to that.
We'll get to after 2 hours and 40 minutes. That's the first time these people started to cheer or clap or do any type of reaction. Everyone else around me, silence. It was silence, except for my rage and the guy next to me definitely getting nervous. Outside of that, it was silence. It was like maybe one ooh moment when
this film needed to be an hour fucking shorter,
bro. It's like maybe one ooh moment when people in the theater. I think it was like a gruesome kill, like maybe it was the Giants or something, and somebody went ooh. Like that's about it. There was no reaction to this joint, and it's
all right. Man, so Second Troy was a nightmare, and we'll return. We've already talked about how all it is forcing guilt on Odysseus for nothing, because Odysseus doesn't really feel bad about this. It wins the war. There's no.
It saves lives.
Saves lives. It saves Greek lives. He doesn't care about Trojan lives. He cares about Greek lives. So, but now we get to the land of dead. You get that silly Benny Safdie Agamemnon speech, which is ridiculous. But then here is where I'm pissed off. They mentioned Achilles once in this.
He was mentioned
once.
He was
once when Menelaus is talking about those who died in Troy.
He tells
Yeah.
Telemachus the name Achilles at one point.
Yes.
Yeah,
That-
once.
yeah.
Achilles is mentioned once.
Yep.
And they gave what is essentially his speech
Yep.
to Ellen Page Sinon,
Yes,
which
correct.
is so insulting. So we may have been wrong in predicting she was going to be Achilles, but Christopher Nolan still made her Achilles in everything but name.
Absolutely correct.
Yeah, it's functionally Achilles. And the reason why the Achilles stuff in the afterlife in the land of the dead is so impactful is because of the character we knew Achilles was, of the pride, of the strength, of the power and the fall from grace that he went through. For him to ultimately say something along the lines, I would rather be a beggar to the lowliest of pig farmers than king of the dead, or something along those lines. That matters because we know who Achilles is. Sinon is fucking nobody who, besides the introduction, the early scene we have of him, is a poorly written nonsense fest to make Antinous even more integral to the
And that's the
backstory
thing.
of everyone.
Sinon is there to make Antinous just some sort of Uber or his family so bad, even worse than all the other suitors, because they bought him off to go here. It's confusing too. It's so
That scene doesn't work. So Antinous pulls the death lot and then tries to pass it off to Sinon. And Odysseus steps in and tells Sinon's father, your boy is trying to take Antinous' death mark. I will not allow this. Then gives Sinon back the death mark and said, I will look after him. Antinous, his father, will you make sure he watches my family to, as a consolation? None of that functions. None of that works.
That confused the crap out of me.
If Sinon had pulled out the death lot and then Antinous had tried to take it from him, all of that suddenly works. Until you get to the whole, Antinous bribed my family for me to take it for him. Like, it's so contradictory. Every action in that scene, everything we hear about that scene is a different version of it. It's unreliable narrator taken to an extreme that functionally destroys the emotional through line of Antinous' villainhood.
But it's all supposed to be so that he could say, Sinon says hi, and shoves the thing down his throat. It's all for that. Because
And I
Sinon was the
I-
best of us.
And I have a functional. Yeah, he was the best. And see, that's where all that functional.
I don't
Hollywood,
believe that Sinon lasted 10 years of the war.
Yeah.
And this is my saying. You took an 8-year-old to Troy. I'm freaking done. I when I saw that there was a baby, a big old fat baby that sat there and is now going to war with you. I sat there. I'm like, hold the front door. Wait a minute.
Makes no sense.
They took that baby.
To be fair, Greek soldiers started training at the age of 7, at least in Sparta.
Training, yes, but you're gonna sit there and go. The war has started. Like, the war is on. Like, here, I'm gonna take this baby and go straight to Troy.
Do you know what's funny about that? Ellen Page is apparently playing like an 18-year-old. Does she look 18 to you at the end?
She's in her late 30s right now.
And that's what I'm saying. That
And
baby
looks
was 8.
10 years older.
And so you survived as a baby a 10-year war, and you were the last one to get murked on the beach. I don't buy that for a split second. Like who?
But
This,
Dre,
the leaps that I have to make to try to make this film make sense hurts all sections of my brain. I don't get it.
But Dre,
And it's nonsense. It adds nothing to this film. We could remove the death mark. We could have removed Ellen Page at the beach. We could have removed the scene of
That's 40 minutes out of the film.
literally, and we would have missed nothing. We already don't like the suitors because they try to move in on my boy's territory. That's all we need. We don't need to know, oh, he's really, really bad. Like, no, I don't like them because our hero, use this term very loosely in this case, our hero is trying to get home and they are trying to take his kingdom from him. That's all the motivation I need to be like, I don't like them. We don't need to go to Ithaca for the rest of the daggone film. We don't even need to go there. I don't want to see Anne Hathaway make her daggone flag.
We'll get to Ithaca stuff in a second, but I gotta show this. I've been sitting on this one. It's perfect time to talk about it. They think Ellen Page is the greatest thing ever, the Nolanites. Elliot Page devoured this scene, not gonna lie. His I'm not gonna play this game. Her performance is probably my favorite in the entire film. Sinon's recontextualized role.
No, it's not recontextualized. It's added. It's not contextualized at all.
Is part of what really helps nail the commentary on societal collapse. The Odyssey's not about societal collapse. It's about a dude trying to get home and fucking around on the way there.
Oh, yeah.
How the first victims are often the best of us, and our attempts to comfort mean nothing in the wake of their loss. Bullshit. Bullshit. And I brought this up just to show you guys the mentality of the people supporting the movie, how they are changing the narrative of the Odyssey to suit their warped view of the world and try and tell us that Ellen Page is a man. Now, Ellen Page is not what ruined this movie.
No.
Trading away Achilles' monologue is what helps ruin this movie.
Yep.
It's not that you cast a woman as a man. That's just retarded shit that we all go, shut the fuck up about.
Yep.
No, what ruins is the fact that you literally purposefully butchered the lore to suit whatever stupid societal narrative you're trying to plug into this. That's what I have a problem with there.
Yep.
And as Jed said, you're taking away what is essentially now the last words of Achilles, who is regretful of his pride and everything that made him him and got him led to his death. This is supposed to be the moment where Achilles bemoans who he was, and you took that away
to bash on Odysseus.
Yeah. Because they were friends. They were friends.
I'm sorry. Maybe I'm missing a part.
Yeah.
Is everyone forgetting that they were at war? Maybe that's the part I'm missing here, because we have that whole scene. Like once again, I like the aesthetics of that scene. I like everything about like them coming out.
Yeah, filming in Iceland, that was a good location.
It was beautiful. I like everything about that, but the freaking speech was so cringeworthy.
And the ghost charging at the end for no reason.
I don't know what the heck that was.
They leave of their own accord. There's nobody chasing them. Run away!
Ghosts, they're not physical.
The ghosts were chasing them. And I'm sitting there like,
let's go.
What's going on? And I have big issues with the fact that, like I mentioned, stealing Achilles' thunder and all that stuff, all that great stuff.
That's the crime here.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. But the speech given was basically damning a freaking Odysseus. Nigga, y'all was held war. He did what he had to do so the war could end. Is I have a hard time wrapping my head around the fact that soldiers would be like, "How could you screw me?" Like,
and he does it because he's the last man standing. Odysseus is one of the last kings standing on all of this.
Yes,
Achilles is dead. Ajax the greater is still alive, but then thanks to Odysseus ends up offing himself.
Yep.
I mean, but it's all ridiculous. But this is Nolan thinking he's better. He can craft a better story. And I want to jump to this part now, too. The sirens. Fuck you, Nolan. I'm sorry. Fuck you. You're not clever having us go through this scene through the point of view of somebody with wax in their ears. Also, you can see Matt Damon going, eh! And they are claiming that is the best Matt Damon has ever done in the performance. His anguish. But I want
the sirens being therapy. That's what I have a problem with it. Having it from the perspective of someone with wax in the ears, I can see the argument because they clearly aren't very creative people. So I don't think they were capable of creating a sound that would
siren song.
Yeah, the siren song I think was beyond their skill set. Now I would just straight up rob inspiration from The Lord of the Rings. There are a couple vocal songs in that, like when Gandalf goes out into Pelennor Fields to rescue Faramir's retreat and is fighting off.
I just watched that the other day. That was so good.
Yes, exactly. And when the choral comes in, that high-pitched woman's voice, just steal that shit. Do that exact same thing, and we're perfect. But yeah, since they're clearly not creative enough to come up with an idea, I think it's better than coming up with something stupid. But my problem is afterwards, he's like, it taught me lessons about my soul. I realized I don't actually want to go home. No, it's hot babe, me go bone. That's all that it's saying.
And unfortunately, hot babe eat you because that's what it was.
Yeah.
Eat you, not in the good way. So, and we'll come back to that because I want to talk about the dialogue of that scene will come back. But to me, that pissed me off because it's Nolan thinking he's so clever, but to me, it's not clever. To me, it's obnoxious. It's obnoxious to me. But Song, and then we talk about Scylla and Charybdis. That's just retarded. It's just retarded.
It doesn't move the plot. It's not important.
I just realized there's nothing on the left side of Charybdis, the whirlpool. There's nothing over there.
And with how it's going clockwise, that would be the direction to go.
Yeah. And then of course they on the Odyssey part of this, Apollo's herd. That's just retarded.
That's a boring ass island.
It's just we're there. We
Where's the fresh water for those cows? That is like a sandbar.
They're wandering around on that beach, man. There's nothing there. But of course, during all of this is the choice to have it being a recounting of it while he's living with Calypso.
And they added in the Lotus Eaters to her.
Yeah, that's where one of the mashing parts in doing the Lotus Eaters there. First of all, it's just ridiculous to have Odysseus suffering literally, and I'll give this one to Dermy, literally having Lotus Eater PTSD on this one. Oh, I'm forgetting everything. It's ridiculous. It's a very lame plot device. Oh, he just forgot everything for 7 years because Cersei wanted to fuck him. Yes, Cersei wanted to fuck him, but that's not how it played out, Dre.
And in this version, she just decides she's done. It's like, yeah, I don't care anymore. I'm bored. Go home.
Guess it happened.
Hermes ordering her.
The things with Calypso pissed me off. Well, first of all, man, I said this earlier. Where are my bad joints?
Charlize Theron is not that hot for this.
She's not, and she never has been. Charlize Theron has never been smoking hot.
I agree.
Never been
I'm
her
not
thing.
a fan. Not a fan.
She's never been smoking
I think
hot.
she could have played Cersei if she had tried to act. She didn't try to act in this.
No, she didn't try that. There's nothing for her to chew on, to her credit. And why is Calypso's island just a barren wasteland? Can anybody explain to me?
There's supposed to be like fruit trees everywhere. They're living on fruit for 7 years.
Fruit trees, oases, naked women running around. Like, where is that? There's not. It's a barren wasteland. And the fact that now this whole film is now being taught from that, being recalled from that point, is ridiculous. So we're not experiencing anything with our character, and he's remembering things out of order. Who wrote this?
Christopher Nolan.
Everything about Calypso didn't work. I have no idea that they're in love. I have no idea on what they connected on. There's nothing. And there's no chemistry.
We ate dinner together a lot.
It's so ridiculous. And where is the penetration?
Ain't no sex
to tell the story without this man putting legs on his shoulders is inappropriate. I don't understand. Excuse me, why is this film R-rated? Did I miss something here?
Language and violence.
Yeah, he says fuck a couple times.
Give me a break. And that's how you get your R rating. There's hardly any gore outside of the Cyclops scene eating a couple dudes.
Yeah, it shouldn't be rated R. Bleep a few bombs and you're good. And it should be rated R, though. Source material-wise, I don't know if you guys remember how Odysseus showed back up on Grecian shores. He shows up, hanging brain, walked up to a bunch of young women bathing naked together and rubbing oil on each other. So basically, lesbian orgy, naked dude.
That's right.
There's a lot of nudity in this story.
And the fact that there's absolutely no nudity in this, and he's not banging nobody on his way.
He doesn't even bang his wife in that flashback.
It's so ridiculous.
All right,
I'm so freaking done.
All right, so we essentially now we've covered the Odyssey, the journey part of this. It's soulless. There's nothing to it. There's no myth. There's no fantastical parts to it. There's nothing. Wow, this is so engaging. No. It's just one boring, drab scene after another, and we'll talk about it later, with no emotional colors or anything in there. But then there's Telemachus as part of the story, and Ithaca.
You have Athena's eyes. Oh, you have Athena's eyes. Oh, you have Athena's eyes. Mentor is supposed to be Athena.
All right.
I feel bad for that dude, though. Went from being fucking mentor and nobody to being Kratos, and now he's not Kratos anymore.
Yeah, torn bicep. Yeah, sucks to be him. So Tom Holland as Telemachus, my dad is coming home, blah, 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 goes to Sparta. John Bernthal and his ball cap do absolutely nothing. Lupita Nyong'o, oh, Dre, they scarred her.
I don't know what the heck I was seeing, man.
It was all for that line, 500 chips now. He thought that was a cool line. And so they scored. I think that is literally what he thought of.
I agree.
That's the whole motivation. And the whole fact that, like, Lupita talking about, oh, Homer would be really uncomfortable with how much screen time we show women, and I really thought about what it's like to be behind Beauty. Bitch, you didn't think about shit. You had 3 lines, 5 minutes. One was a stabbing scene. The only time you put any emotion into a scene, besides the stabbing, is when you start screaming at Menelaus to tell the story about how your twin sister murdered her husband. Not a point to die on a hill on. That's not something that you should get involved in. And the source material gave way more time to women, made them way more intelligent. He robbed the intelligence of all the women in this.
All of them.
Yeah.
All of them. And the
all the Gorgon
Mystique.
women. All of them.
Penelope is an obnoxious bitch.
Ow.
When she yells in her son's face, essentially saying, I've actually been queen all these years, but no one can acknowledge it because I'm a woman. I've been sitting on the throne. I was just rolling my eyes going, oh, shut up. Anne Hathaway, yes, I would like to have mad sex with you when you're not pregnant.
Well,
but no, stop.
They forget to add in that Odysseus's father is alive and up until recently was involved in court politics. So she had a previous king to help her through all that. They cut him out entirely.
Yeah, but so it's just the representation, and every single one of these women push. So every time there's a woman on the screen, it's pushing some sort of stupid feminism bullshit. Yep. It's in there. It's written in there. And the men just go, okay, all right, yeah, we're terrible. Yeah. And within Ithaca, the suitors are just jokes. They're there to say fuck off. They're there to beat up John Leguizamo, who is just obnoxious.
And kick the robo-dog.
Listen, I know people were all, and Jed confirmed it because Rachel cried when the dog died, or at least got teary-eyed.
Yeah,
I laughed.
Women were affected by the dog.
You know why
death.
I laughed? Because that was clearly a puppet, and the fake tail wag just got me.
And apparently, the puppy in the flashback is an entirely different breed of dog.
Yeah.
There's no continuity in this.
None. So everything Ithaca's dumb, and they even Telemachus avoids the trap completely because of Athena. He doesn't walk into it where Odysseus can kill everybody. And I've heard, and then when Odysseus actually gets there, instead of having Athena there to put a glamour on him, I'm just gonna pull a hood real low. I'm gonna pull a hood real low, and no one's gonna know me. Okay, there's my disguise. And instead of having actual, and while people are praising, oh, but it felt real nice to have a father-son moment there. Yeah, Telemachus knew he was there the whole fucking time. There's the whole scenes on the beach where they talk and plan and scheme, and Athena's there too. They just cut all that out so that, oh, I can know you, and it's all set up also so that you can have your. I saw people praising the setup of Tom Holland's Telemachus move, where the sword in the moment of show your belly and says, "Shut up." That's setup and payoff. No, that is the lowest grade setup and payoff you could fucking do. A move.
I completely forgot about it.
Yeah. So
that whole fight scene was terrible. Telemachus not killing any suitors is retarded.
Well, here's the thing. As it's supposed to go, once the bow is strung and drawn and the slaughter begins, nobody lays a finger on Odysseus. And Telemachus,
he doesn't spin in a bunch of circles.
He doesn't grab the axe and go, I'm in a merry-go-round. No, he slaughters them. And then he get away and try to go for the door. Telemachus is there with a spear to make sure they don't get anywhere.
Yep.
That's how
Athena's
it goes.
Actively wading in, fighting beside them. That's what prevents the suitors' family members from enacting revenge.
So the people are claiming, oh, but the movie kind of saved itself with the final climactic battle. No, it's dog shit. Matt Damon, once upon a time, with Born on Identity, could do good choreography. Yeah. That wasn't good choreography. That's him swinging around and hip shooting with a bow.
And when he's shooting the bow, he's just like, There's the bow suddenly doesn't have a draw weight.
Yeah.
Oh no, not none whatsoever.
Even though that's kind of the whole point of the stringing scene is it's a heavy draw weight.
And they want to make it. They want to make a big deal over his speech from Odyssey, from Troy, about coming home from Troy and all this kind of. It's all terrible, and the whole thing is ridiculous. And Nolan at the last second tries a bait and switch, tries to subvert our expectations to think Odysseus dies, but no, him and Penelope go off. No, Odysseus comes home, kills everybody, fucks his wife, then says, "I'm ready to leave again." That's the ending. Not I need to go west to pay honor to my dead men. What the fuck is that?
And never return. He's exiled.
All because of the law of Zeus. That got overplayed so hard in this movie.
And the idea of him is self-imposed exile, by the way. And the fact that he self-imposed exile himself makes no sense because his hospitality was being violated.
Yeah,
So
that's part of the actual Zeus's law is it's violated by either party. You can do something about it.
You can do something. So someone
it's not this guaranteed law.
Exactly. It's once again, it's that commie bull, and that's that nonsense. Communism. And I'm like, yo, you go in there, people have violated your space, and then just about every other translation of it is like, oh yeah, we might have been hanging around for a little too long, but we can repay you. He's like, nah, forget that noise. I'm finna kill all you jokers because you violated the law. And now I'm going to be I'm the king of Ithaca. I'm going to have self-imposed exile after coming back and seeing that you niggas robbed me.
Yeah.
What do we do? Right. I hate everything.
Yeah.
Everything. Except for some good set pieces and a couple of fun ideas.
Let's move on then.
Well, I need to talk about that.
Okay.
So yeah, with all that, with the law of Zeus, is actually my most hated aspect of the film, even more so than robbing the gods. The law of Zeus, crap, and it wasn't a problem until the end of the movie, but it retroactively destroyed so much of the film. This idea that Odysseus is tortured because he stopped the war, and he specifically says, I violated Zeus's law by doing the Trojan horse. I gave them a gift, and it was a poisoned apple, and I destroyed them. Just to start with, according to this film's version of the law of Zeus, the Trojans already violated by not inviting the Greeks in as soon as they showed up on their shores. So that's already retarded. And the idea that they straight up say that he is responsible for the end of the Bronze Age, and they say the Dark Ages are coming. They did straight up say that. Yeah. Odysseus is a villain in this movie. He doesn't deserve to go home. They turned one of the most interesting, flawed, and epic men from human history into a villain who causes more death, destruction, and societal collapse than Adolf fucking Hitler. He is a monster in this film, according to the law, because he created the Sea People in this version of things. The Sea People somehow spread out everywhere. Yeah, the Sea People, just Greeks who decided Zeus's law isn't important anymore because Odysseus showed them the way to rob and pillage and be like Vikings years later. And yeah, they straight up say the Age of Bronze is coming to an end. Not a thing, because they didn't know steel was fucking coming around the corner, and the Dark Ages are coming. That's 1,500 years later, not right around the corner. It doesn't make any sense from a historical standpoint. Nolan wanted to have this commentary on societal collapse, but what he did is I think he damaged Odysseus' character far more than Jake Skywalker can ever hope to be compared against to. They violated what this man represented, and they made him responsible for the fucking Dark Ages. I find this version offensive to the source material. The Odyssey is my favorite book. Greek mythology means so much to me on a personal and intellectual level. To see the cornerstone of it, which is Homer, debased in this way, to see Odysseus portrayed as a villain is vile to me. Straight up vile. If they hadn't included that, I think I would be very mad on this film. Without the whole Odysseus is responsible for the fall of the Bronze Age, I just forget about this film, give it like a 4 or 5, and be like, yeah, it's not for me, but whatever, enjoy it, whatever. But because of that, I straight up despise it from a moral standpoint. Like I cannot express properly in human language how vile I think it is that they made Odysseus the villain. Because Odysseus, Antinous, not even close to as big of a villain as Odysseus.
The suitors are a representation. The suitors are a representation of something that's bad. They're not actual villains. They're just a group. And Antinous is the head of that group.
Yeah, he's just the most charismatic one, so he talks the most. And Odysseus spends the whole film coming to terms with his guilt at being the doom of the Bronze Age. It's an Oppenheimer metaphor. It's a lot like Oppenheimer, but he doesn't learn his lesson. He spends the whole film learning his lesson and then doesn't learn his lesson and violates the law of Zeus again to slaughter all the suitors and go into exile. He's compounding the issue rather than solving it in the context of this film.
This is why I say this movie is about forced guilt. They're forcing Odysseus to be guilty for the sake of their social narrative when he shouldn't be guilty at all. Real Odysseus is not guilty, and that's part of his problem in terms of his actions while he's out there, because his arrogance and his pride and his narcissism. And he regrets things, but he doesn't feel guilty. But that's a different kind of guilt. They want him to feel socially guilty. Oh, I did a bad thing to be. No, this is retarded. And that's why this film falls apart. And that's why I cannot stand anything about this movie. Especially now, let's move on to the portrayals, the acting, the choices. We've said it from the beginning. We said it a year ago when they were announcing the cast of this. We've said it tonight, but we'll say it again now. This entire movie is miscast. Nobody is in their proper place. And mind you, there are good actors and actresses in this film who have had better roles. But in this film, they do nothing. The performances, we've already mentioned it. Matt Damon is essentially confused Matt Damon this whole movie. I don't care if you think that the speech from the sirens is great. Right here, this line that's now running around. They're all running around this line, multiple posts. The most we want is what the most we can't have. And what the most we can't have is what we already had and lost. That's fucking word salad. That is not good writing. This is fucking word salad. It is meaningless.
Pseudo-intellectual.
And then at the end of that conversation to go, it was like a delicious itch that you shouldn't scratch, but scratching. What? When you have somebody on screen and you're just telling them to scream and say these words, and that's what you're going to call great performances. No, Matt Damon's performance in this is empty. It's soulless because he's just fucking Matt Damon. Anne Hathaway, who is a good actress and has been a good actress for Christopher Nolan. She's obnoxious. She's abrasive. She's abusing. She verbally abuses her own son repeatedly in this. So she can't do it. Let's see. Charlize Theron just showed up for her paycheck. All the diverse people, all the diverse Greeks in Odysseus' crew, they're nothing. John Leguizamo is just there to be John fucking Leguizamo as he is now. Robert Pattinson sounds terrible with an American accent in this. Not letting Tom Holland and Robert Pattinson use their actual accents, that's criminal in a movie where it would be perfect for them for their actual accents.
Yeah.
Tom Holland is
like the line plate liquor from Antinous.
Oh, God, plate liquor. Tom Holland is just kind of there. Zendaya's her usual plank of wood.
Which, as Athena, is fucking vile.
And John Bernthal, let me tell you about this. He's essentially doing his John Bernthal thing. Nyong'o, is just there, too. She's got nothing. And we've already talked about Ellen Page's stealing of Achilles' speech, the only time she talks the whole fucking movie. So everybody's wrong in this movie. Is there anybody in this movie that did a good job acting? And I'm going to come back around in a second, like I said, but I want to talk specifically about what's her name who did Circe, because I have issue with her performance. I have issue. But before I do that, you guys want to add anything before I lay into that? Because that could be a conversation.
Only one thing I had to add, I don't know if I mentioned, I had to step away for a second, was the moment when the man is clearly Indian had to tell somebody that from Ithaca.
We're Greeks from Ithaca.
It's worse. It's worse than you think. So there's that awful moment, but you know the old man speaking another language, right? That has to be translated.
Yes.
Do you know what language that was?
No.
Some Greek Twitter users confirmed that he's speaking Greek.
Oh,
That's retarded. He's
so they didn't
actually-
under. So they didn't. So he was speaking actual Greek. They didn't understand him, and
said, "We are Greeks."
Because they were an Indian and a Chinese man.
That's genuinely retarded. Have him speak Spanish or Turkish or Persian, something.
I know.
Spanish shouldn't exist yet, but
this is not happening.
Now, but one of my biggest problems, and one that I found I had a most reaction was what's her name? What is Samantha Matheson? Is that her name? Playing Cersei.
Oh, played Cersei. Yeah.
I've seen her in other roles, and she's
My
good.
mom has seen her in a role. She said she used to be good. Then she had apparently she had brain damage at one point, and now it's visible. It's visible.
Oh, and with her, there's a story she told, and a lot of the actors have said same things. Nolan didn't cast this film. He had these people in mind, said, take it or leave it at what I'm offering. You will not see the script. You're who I want, though. That's how he did his casting
And
process.
they all said yes.
Yeah.
It's
Robert Pattinson apparently is the only person who said, can I see the script? And the joke is that he remembers Tenet.
Point is this, though. My point is this. The sound of her voice and her tone and everything about it was like fingernails on a chalkboard to me, listening to her during the search scene, because all I hear is this whiny tone talking about feminism and hatred of men.
Yeah.
And now we can now tie into the writing. The writing of this movie, which is apparent to me, and that scene epitomizes the writing of this movie. This woman who is also not American, speaking with a horrible American accent in this whiny, lilting, drawn out tone, crying about men, going, and there should be a level of intellect represented in dialogue and writing in an epic tale like this. But instead, you reduce to whiny feminist speeches, suitors telling people to fuck off repeatedly. My dad is coming home. Your daddy is going to be here. You lucky bastard. And just an entire script of no actual passion and emotion, not only not acted, but not written in to the story. There is not a moment of they want to talk about the Odysseus speech with the sirens, the Odysseus speech when he's in front of Penelope's doors. It's Matt Damon acting his ass off. No, it's not. No, it's not. It's soulless. It's empty, and it's made soulless and empty by choosing to have it be 2026 modern vernacular. We'll say 2025 because this was shot in 2025. All because Nolan wanted it to be earthy. His literal words, we've read them in the article, earthy and relatable. No, it's not. All I hear is somebody talking in tones and intonations that do not represent that era. There's a reason why I said when we reviewed Troy, even though at times the script was lacking, the actors were acting their asses off as what they had because at least the words were right. The type of language being used was right. It wasn't always strong, but at least the language sounded right, and they tried. Nobody tried in this movie. So many people are claiming Matt Damon's best role ever. No, not it's
Goodwill
it's
Hunting. Anyone? I mean, like,
yeah. I'll be hunting over here. Oh, we're Greeks from Ithaca.
Man, that's that line, and had the Indian man say it, I almost fell out my recliner. I couldn't. Everything about this movie just frustrates me to no end. And it's not even that I'm surprised, because I knew this movie was going to be. Well, we all kind of knew this movie was going to be a disaster.
We knew it.
But this movie was so intentionally offensive that it has to be acknowledged. And of course, we have to also factor in that this is Christopher Nolan, who has the reputation for dynamite films. And he has some slip-ups here and there, like Tenet or whatever. But for the majority of his career, he has had dynamite films that are critical acclaim and box office success, all that stuff. This movie is an absolute unmitigated disaster. Everywhere you look, something went wrong. The casting went wrong. The script went wrong. The good Lord, the timing of where we're focusing our time went wrong.
Pacing.
Everything
The
about
pa- that's
pacing.
the
Oh
pacing.
Lord,
It's disjointed. It's all over the place.
everything.
And the pacing. You know what helps a movie with good pacing? A soundtrack, a score.
Well, the score is just like drums. Wasn't it just drums
There's
the whole
drums
time?
and flutes and somehow some sort of guttural choral singing.
It's the same 3 notes repeated over and over again. If we're lucky, the repetition gets quicker.
But
It's
drums,
awful.
those drums were like a dull nail being driven into my temple during this movie.
They physically hurt me as well. I took ibuprofen watching the film because the sound mixing and music gave me an actual headache.
So there's no and part of it, and I'll give you guys credit. Nolan can still make a shot look good.
Absolutely.
But it's kind of ruined with some of the worst editing I've ever seen. It's YouTuber bad jump cut editing. Everything's a jump.
Because it's IMAX. That's the thing that people are understanding. IMAX cameras are only capable of having 3-minute takes at a time. But Adam, I sent this message to you. There is no such thing as playback on set. The film, after it's been recorded, has to be shipped from on location in Europe to California to be developed just to see if it turned out okay. And by the time he knows whether or not it turned out okay, it's too late to film everything extra. And the way that they edit it, Adam, they have to edit it as film without composite shots. That's one reason he's so against CGI in this film, because CGI is so
But he
difficult.
used it anyway.
He did use it sometimes.
They had to use it on the Polyphemus puppet because they had to. Because if we've seen the behind the scenes shot, that was not what we saw in the movie.
But they cut the film by hand and still glue it. So the transitions would be immensely difficult with the type of film that he's using with IMAX film.
And that speaks to his arrogance. I'm gonna shoot this whole thing in IMAX. Yeah, and it looks like shit because you did that. And it sounds like shit. And everything in the movie also looks like shit.
About 2 inches above and below the screen. IMAX aspect ratio means nothing to me, especially because everything you need is in shot on a standard screen.
I said this to Jed yesterday. It's like they're trying to force us to go back to 4:3 aspect ratio.
Yeah.
Well,
that way.
Because the projectors are 50 years old and they can't make any new ones. But the CEO Dre actually said that this week we don't know how, we can't make any more. We're just trying to keep the ones from 50 years ago we have running.
Shit, they better build another one.
So until recently, IMAX was rejected as a form of film, but because Christopher Nolan likes it, we're going to use it because he's Christopher Nolan. But that's only part of it. The movie looks terrible. The armor, Jed, you told me one point you could see the peeling of Odysseus' helmet.
Mm-hmm. Yep, when he landed on Cersei's shores, the plastic inner on next to his chin was peeling away from the rubber of his outer. It was really bad.
Everybody's making fun of the Trojan armor.
It is weird.
Agamemnon and his Darth Vader Batman helmet looks stupid. I don't care what anybody says. It's not good.
On a hoverboard?
On a hover round? Jeez.
Yeah.
And you got and the lack of color, the lack of anything. There's no such thing as a really very little establishing shots in this. It's just look at it, cut away quick because of, as we've been discussing now, how IMAX film works. There is no post in this. It's what they got, what they done. The costuming, even when they're not in the armor, it looks like shit. The
you
choreography
can see the seams on Telemancus's pants, shirt, down Anne Hathaway's shirt or dress.
The choreography is garbage. So nothing about this movie works. I'll give you your 1 to 2 points of technical prowess from Christopher Nolan. I'll give you those 1 to 2 points. But what else is there to write home about from this movie? What movie did all these people, the Nolanites, see that we didn't see? What did they see? I question that.
His balls on their eyes.
I never want to see that angle ever. I don't want balls that close to my face. I don't. Point being, this movie is not this epic that we were promised. It is not this epic that people are running around claiming it is.
It's boring.
And top it all off, it is boring.
Like, I didn't rage until the Sea People reveal.
I never raged. I was just annoyed. I'm more raging at the ball-licking reaction from the Nolanites. That's what's got me pissed off, because you can't have a serious conversation with these people. Because as soon as you bring it up, oh, you're a chud. Oh, you're a racist. Oh, you're no. How much time have we spent talking about Nyong'o and Ellen Page here today? And when we talk about
as much as the movie did.
And when we talk about Ellen Page, it was about the stealing of Achilles' agency. We're here to talk about the fact that Nolan's reach exceeded his grasp. He couldn't get there. He reached for it, couldn't grab it, and we are now left with this movie that they're going to force every award on this movie.
Oh, absolutely.
They're going to. And that is going to, and they're already, the Nolanites are already running around and they're saying, it's going to win every award of that. It's going to prove, don't listen to chuds on YouTube or the internet. From the beginning, the three of us and many others have said, this movie will make a set amount of money that'll look really big. But as we talked about earlier in a previous discussion, its break even is $750 million. With Spider-Man Brand New Day lurking literally around the corner. It has a window of starting today, July 19th to July 31st. It has roughly 11 days at this point to make that money, because it's already made its Sunday money. We're talking Monday, July 20th to Friday, July 31st. That's what we're talking about here. And that's a very tall order when suddenly you have the biggest competition of the summer. And when that doesn't happen, they're going to then move the goalpost. Oh, it made enough money without any sort of understanding of how break-even works. Or let's just say it doesn't get every award. They'll make up some excuses how it was robbed. But this movie has been protected, is being protected now, will be protected. But the fact that it is not being universally praised and held is something to be noted. We are not lone voices in the maelstrom. There is a large contingent of people. I would wager, as we talked about earlier, 50% of the audience has said no to this. A lot of prominent voices have said no to this. But just as many legions of Nolanites are running around and they're screaming, oh, no, it's great. But you notice they can't say why? Like with everything that people like that claim is great, they don't have specifics. They just say Matt Damon is great, Christopher Nolan is great. They'll quote things, like I just showed you. They'll quote it, but they won't actually break it down as to why it's a great quote. Or like with the Sinon speech that she steals from Achilles, they'll invent something. Just like they're inventing that, oh, it really was Athena taking on the image of that killed priestess.
Oh, Lord.
They'll invent answers to cope with the reality that Nolan bait and switched you, that he didn't fulfill his promise to do a fantasy mythological movie. The Odyssey will be remembered, but not for the reasons they want. It'll be remembered as possibly the moment that maybe Nolan wasn't all he was cracked up to be. And maybe he really wasn't doing this to make art, but for his own arrogant, prideful passions. You guys want to add anything else before we go here?
I hate this movie.
I hate it as well.
I hate this movie. And I didn't want to hate this movie.
I know you did.
Like,
How did I?
I didn't want to hate this movie. I wanted this movie to be good. I wanted to be a Christopher Nolan take on one of the greatest stories ever told. And what I got was a hodgepodge of Western Hollywood nonsense. And I'm so ashamed. I'm so ashamed that I watched it. I'm ashamed that I watched it, because this is the worst adaptation of this story I've ever seen. And it's not even remotely close. even if you want to strip away all the modern technology, strip it all away. The joint from 1911 is better than this. Okay,
Dre, I'm going to present this to you because I
Sure.
presented it to Dermy on Friday and Jed on Friday. I want to present this to you. Here's how I would have, if I was just for Nolan, here's how I would have done this movie. And I think this would have gone over much better without any of us complaining. Then you would have just been a take it or leave it.
Sure.
What if it's simply a world with the same names of Ithaca, Troy, and stuff like that, but it's
Sure.
simply land, no sea, set in a very modern setting, and its endless road is the Odyssey, and turnoffs and force of that. What if it was set like that?
Like a modern, like a literally modern version of
Like,
what-
oh brother, where art thou?
Yes,
Sure.
that, yeah, which is a better adaptation than this movie. What if he had done that to then get his realism, his grounding of it, that the gods, and if you want to do gods, make the gods more akin to these, make it more of these
what, like corporate entities or
maybe something like that, or just these representations that are along the way that guided, that forced all this stuff. What if he had done that? Made it with cars or buses or trucks and stuff. Then
infinitely better film.
And then I say, I don't like this, but I'm not going to complain about it. I've done my review and I walk away. And take your accolades. Then go.
Like with that, and right when it's announced, I would automatically say screw it.
Yeah.
Because I would want the epic.
You want the fantasy, the mythology.
I would like the epic to be the epic. But then I'll have to take in consideration this man's body of work.
Yes.
Look at what he did with Batman. He took literally all of the fantastical elements out of Batman and still found a way to make it grounded, fun, and thought-provoking. And Dark Knight is still held as one of the greatest films ever put onto the American stage. So taking in consideration the man's body of work, then to let him be able to take a 3,000-year-old story and then literally make a legitimate modern version of it.
Yeah.
My idea of it will soften.
Then we go to the objective art perspective on it. Then we're looking as an attempt to be artful and not. And then we forgive every lack of. Then you can have Lupita be black all she wants as Helen of Troy. Then it don't matter.
You want.
Then it don't matter.
You can do whatever you want.
You could have Troons running around all over the place. We don't give a fuck.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing that happened with Troy to a certain extent because they admitted it was a retelling, not an adaptation. If you just admitted it's a retelling, not an adaptation, and changed the name, you're already off to a good start. But if you go the full 9 yards that you're talking about, Adam, there's zero problem. That's why I keep bringing up the example. He clearly cares more about medieval and Viking aesthetics. That's why I keep saying the Siege of Paris, because aesthetically it's way closer to Vikings and, the fogs of the North Sea. But I don't know why he couldn't just admit that he didn't want to tell ancient Greek.
Yeah,
tell a modern, tell a Viking. Do it when you wanted it, and then you're good.
Yeah. Nolan has his shtick, his niche.
Mm-hmm.
And
I hope he goes back to it. He's great.
He's not going to, because I have a feeling he's going to listen to the calls for him to do a body horror movie now. They're all saying, do a body horror, do a horror movie. I think he's going to say now, I'm going to do that. Because I'm Christopher Nolan. Look, I can do anything. I drink my own Kool-Aid.
Oh, that Kool-Aid.
Yeah. So there was a way out of this, and I would have had. I probably like Dre. I probably would not have liked it or wanted it, but I at least could have respected it as an attempt to do something different and artful and objectively shot. Because then something like that, Nolan can get away with his big grandiose shots, his big grandiose moments of drawn out show don't tell. Which he didn't even do in this one. The show don't tell in this movie is abysmal. And Nolan's done that. Nolan has done good show don't tell. Mm-hmm. Inception, Interstellar, great show don't tell in those movies. Not present in this movie. Either way, Odyssey. We'll be back with more of it when the time comes. We will examine it. It's going to be here for a little while, but now it comes to the as we said before, the discussion of the movie itself will fade very soon. The Nolanites will talk themselves into being hoarse. They will go back to being weird in other places. And now we will talk money. The talk will be money going forward. Mm-hmm. And we're going to tell the truth. We know the break even. We know what it's going to be. Never once have we said this will not make money. We've all given very high expectations of where it'll be, but we'll see if it gets there. And Spider-Man is that very, very large wall that they have to get around. With that, we did it. We're done today. Made it. Took the whole episode. We're done. All 2 hours. Odyssey, Odyssey, Odyssey. So like I said, gentlemen, thank you for indulging me today with just the one topic. Chat, thank you for indulging us and joining us. Guys, pimp your wares. Let's get out of here. Jed.
Well, everyone can find me on YouTube at The Endless Frontiers. Now I have 5 hours worth of discussion about this film with 2 hours here, 2 hours on Tryhards, and then my hour review. So if you want my thoughts in more depth, check out my review of the Odyssey currently up. Besides that, A Ride or Flight returns tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern. We actually found a planet in the Goldilocks zone with an atmosphere. It's the first time that's ever happened. So we'll be talking about that. And then the rest of the week, just playing Assassin's Creed Black Flag whenever I get a chance, hopefully finishing it up after 1, maybe 2 more streams, and getting back to Mass Effect, which is just such a better game. And then to close out the week, Saturday Night Drive-In returns at 7 p.m. Eastern, but Adam will talk more about that.
All right, Dre, I hope you're feeling better right now.
Oh yeah, I'm feeling better because I don't have to think about this movie anymore.
No, you're done. Except numbers, you're done. You're done.
Yeah, I'm so freaking done with this garbage film. But once again, big shout out to the chat hanging out with us today. Damn, I forgot what I was about to say. Role Playing Comics YouTube channel, definitely check it out. Follow me on, my brain is so cooked. What is it? The Root 00X Twitter. Some announcements will be coming down the pipeline soon about Treble Rise of the Children. We'll be getting some more updates of that coming down the pipeline very, very soon, which I think a couple ones will be posting later on. But do all those great YouTube things, like, comment, subscribe, and share.
Okay, as for me, we'll just be dancing around the Odyssey this week. I cannot promise anything this week because, as I've been saying, I'm 3 weeks away from my move across town, so I'm just trying to keep the channel low expectations for content. Also, because stuff like the Odyssey, it's sucking up all the oxygen in the room, so there's not much else to talk about. And when there is, I want to make sure I give you guys something, an actual conversation, not just something reaching to get a piece of news or content out there. So we'll see how the streams go this week. What I will say is, of course, we'll be back on Dermy's. Oh, I'm sorry. No, first, I checked with Dermy last night. Anime Odyssey this Thursday. Dermy and I will be talking Reincarnated as a Slime seasons 2 and 3. Getting ready for season 4, which is airing in this very moment. Then Friday, Tryhards on Dermy's channel. Then Jed and I for driving this week. I wanted to have fun. So we're going to do Blade 2. I want to have fun.
It's fun.
I want to have fun. And Jed's never seen it.
That's a treat.
Yeah.
Yep. We did Blade 1 about a year ago.
Yeah.
That was great.
Yeah. So we're going to have some fun. Do Blade 2. Nice, easy lifting, not heavy. And maybe I'll play some games this week too. I don't know. Sunday, we'll be back here next week, roundtable 3 p.m. Eastern. And that'll be that. We'll see how everything goes. And I will say this now, either with some hesitation, I will be reviewing Spider-Man Brand New Day. I will be reviewing that. So that
I think everybody is. I'm sure.
Well, but I'm going to do my Noon Nap review. I'm going to do the short form review first, the quick one that was doing well here. And then we'll have our discussion on Sunday. So that's what we're going to do. That's how we're going to do it. I like it. I feel like it's better. Anyway, thank you one and all for being with us here today. We hope you had a good time. Best way to do that, hit those like buttons, subscribe to everybody's channels, and share it out there, and join us again for another roundtable and another live streams videos. Other than that, take it easy, everybody.